So, welcome everybody in the Cyprus International Film Festival industry event. We're going to listen some pitches, some will be recorded, some not, and then we will have a presentation of the funding program here in Cyprus from the European Commission on Creative Europe Media. Παντέλια Βυρίδη και Νίκο Γεωργούδης. Thank you.
This settlement, you can see the scars of history that live onto the inhabitants.
Oh, Lord.
You got to see more.
Okay, go. Hello, everybody. My name is Tommy King. I was born in Athens, Greece. Moved to Toronto when I was 3.5 years old. My parents kidnapped me there. I'm a filmmaker. My first feature film was premiered in North America last week in Toronto, which we won Best Canadian Feature Film at the GIFT Awards. Yes. Oh, I'm getting up to work about that. I'm getting there. And we did our world premiere yesterday here at Cyprus at Panagiotis Festival. I can't clap on this, so yes, no problem. Just edit that out. It's not a problem. And I'm here today to pitch. So my feature film that was here was called Sergeant Fruit Fly. It's about an awkward teenager that's a victim of bullying, and with his mother's magic potion, becomes a hero. Just so you guys know that. So I'm here to pitch my next movie. It's a comedy. It feels like that movie Throw Mama Off the Train with Billy Crystal. Anybody seen that? No? A couple people? Okay, so you get a feeling. And it's about a 77-year-old eccentric grandmother who robs a bank to pay off her grandson's debt to the mob. Okay? It's a comedy. And Gammy, she's not your regular grandmother. She's not. She believes in the old school hard knocks. She believes he who doesn't listen with words listens with pain. And she has a great upper hook punch to punch at mobsters. Her grandson, Jonathan, even though same bloodline, he's the opposite. He's very mild-mannered, very quiet, and scared of his own shadow. These two people are like oil and water. They don't mix. But during the robbery, they come together and take care of each other and become family. So the movie's about relationships. And we'd like to get to play Harry Styles to play the grandson, that actor from England, and Goldie Hawn to play the grandmother. And if there's any questions, that was my pitch.
Thank you.
Okay, Petra, how are you doing? What's your question?
Yes, format, you like that?
No, man, I love telling stories. I'm a trainer, you know. Yes.
Toby, what is the budget of the film?
It's talent sensitive, but over $4 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the script is locked?
It's polished, yeah, it's finished, yeah. We have people reading it right now in Toronto. Producers are interested in it as we speak, yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
What about the cast?
Like I said, we'd like to attach Goldie Hawn to play the grandmother and Harry Styles to play the grandson. If I get those two, if I get Goldie Hawn attached first, I'm pretty sure I'll get Harry Styles, and then we'll go after Robert De Niro to play the mobster, because he plays this awkward, do you see, analyze this?
Yes.
So he plays sometimes as awkward mobsters. I think he's really good at that comedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have any distribution offers?
We haven't gone that direction. No, Julia, our producer, is a distributor in Canada, so she's a
Okay.
dual on that. Yeah, dual on that, yeah.
Okay. When do you plan to shoot?
Oh, where?
When?
When we get the money.
Okay.
As everybody knows in the film business here, it's all about the money. That's all it's about. But we're going to shoot in New York City and New Jersey. And if we can't afford New Jersey, New York, then we'll shoot in Toronto and we'll cheat it.
In the new studios that you told me?
Oh, Julie, my producer, she's building new studios in Winnipeg, LED studios, you know, those indoor outdoor area. She's doing a $20 million project right now. Yeah, she's fantastic.
Okay.
Julie Jet Inc.
Yeah.
Get that in there.
Okay. Okay.
All right, guys, thank you for this interview.
Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Pαντέλια Βυρίδη. I'm here with my colleague Νίκο Γεωργούδη today, and we represent the Creative Europe Desk Cyprus. We were very happy to receive the invitation by Mrs. Petra Terzi to this year's film festival, and we are here to present to you the funding opportunities that Europe offers to all the stakeholders, to all beneficiaries across Europe, and this is done through the Creative Europe program. Okay, so we're here today. We're here today to present actually. So next slide. The Creative Europe program, which through the media strand is separated into 3 strands, covers the funding opportunities that are given to the media sector. And as we can see, we are now under the 21-27 programmatic period with a budget of 1.42 billion. Okay. So, firstly, I'm going to talk a little bit about us so that you get to know us, who we are. And then secondly, I would like to go around and see who we have today here in the room, so we can be more specific and talk more concretely for different calls that could be also appropriate to you as potential beneficiaries. So, a few words about us. We work at the Organization for European Programs and Cultural Relations, which is under the state. We are based and we are under the Deputy Ministry of Culture of Cyprus. We run the Creative Europe Desk Cyprus. All the member states in the European Union have Creative Europe desks, and we work as a liaison with the Commission here in Cyprus. We also serve as a national contact point for the Citizens' Equality, Rights and Values program. This is another funding program which offers opportunities for funding to civil society organizations and for proposals that deal with civil society problems and other issues. Also, we are head of network of the Annelind Foundation Cyprus network, and we run actions of research, innovation, and international networking actions. Also, the organization participates in different cultural networks and initiatives like the UNIC, the MCAT, and the New European Bauhaus. So, as a Creative Europe desk, the Creative Europe desks work to promote actually the calls for proposals for funding opportunities. What does this mean? This means that every year the Commission announces under each program different calls. This means specific calls for specific subjects. This means that we are here in Cyprus to promote these calls. Each call has a specific call document which is about 30 pages, and on this call someone can find out the scope, the objectives, and all the necessary parameters actually to write a proposal. We are here as a team to promote these calls and of course to support and to facilitate and to offer our help to everyone here in Cyprus. We do this through different ways. We travel all over Cyprus where we give presentations, we do capacity building sessions, and also we run a lot of webinars in the Greek language, and we cover the region of Cyprus and Greece because we're both Greek speaking. We are also, because we're working as a liaison between Europe and Cyprus, we are here to support the dissemination of the results of the program. So people can see and hear which of the results, who are the beneficiaries, and they even get encouraged through this. So the support is given in all the stages. We promote the cause, so people get to know what their requirements are. Then throughout the procedure of the writing of the proposals, we are there to support and facilitate. And of course, during the procedure, when someone gets a proposal, wins the funds, we are there to facilitate. And as mentioned before, Creative Europe desks are everywhere, or in all the European Union countries. And also to mention that as a Creative Europe desk here in Cyprus, we collaborate with all the Creative Europe desks across Europe, and we have transnational meetings and presentations together. Okay, so saying that, I think it would be nice to get to know all of you so that we can understand which is the field that you are working. So it could be very small. For example, I'm Pantelia, I'm a musician myself, I'm in arts management, I work here in Cyprus for the Creative Europe desk.
Hello everyone, I'm Niko Georgoudis. I am an officer at the Organization for European Programs and Cultural Relations, and I'm also happy to be here to present the funding opportunities under the Creative Europe program, which is beneficial for all organizations across the film industry value chain.
My name is Leslie. My name is Leslie Hoppenroth, a screenwriter from Canada, and I'm very interested to hear if there's any possibility of support in Canada. My screening was last night here in Cyprus, and I'm currently writing many scripts, and I would love to just learn more about opportunities.
My name is Bella, I'm an artist and filmmaker. I'm half Cypriot and I'm half British as well. A lot of my work is about the relationship between person and place, and most of it is based in Cyprus. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Panagiotis Charalambous. I'm a team leader at the Science Center of Excellence. I do computer graphics and animation. And I'm here today to do a talk about virtual production in Cyprus. So, yeah.
My name is... Hi everyone, my name is Ines Kraft. I'm an actress with a passion to tell stories, so I studied filmmaking, I direct films and produce films. I have several short films and now a feature film in development. Η Κύπρος έγινε το σπίτι μου, so Cyprus became my home. I am learning Greek and I work in Cyprus and represent Cyprus in film festivals. Very nice to meet you.
All right. I'm Robert. First of all, I'm sorry for being a bit late. I was in the other room and the lecture started. And it was a lot of Greek. At some point I realized that I'm probably in the wrong group. Yeah, but I'm a sound designer and a composer. So I'm not that much involved with the application process and so on, which I'm somewhat thankful for. It is very nice that there is programs like that and so on, but yeah, maybe not still my cup of tea. But I figured that it is also something that it's useful to know a little bit about, so I figured I'd come and attend.
Hi, I'm Tommy King from Toronto, Canada. I'm a filmmaker. I'm here in Cyprus. We did our world premiere for Sergeant Flew Fly at the Cyprus Film Festival. And I think this program is fantastic for filmmakers, especially for first features. They need that help to get the funding.
I'm Toma Enake from Romania. I represent La Steaua Film Studio. I'm director because this is my passion. I'm producer because it's necessary to have money to make movie. And I'm actor, scriptwriter. I'm here because I have the premiere with Premiere European with Enescu Skin Live, my third feature film. It's about the greatest Romanian composer, George Enescu. George Enescu is like Mozart, the same, a Mozart, but people don't know so much about him because he was Romanian and he had this kind of, he don't want to register his opera, when he's a conductor or play at violin or piano, because she plays violin, piano, and was a great teacher and a great composer. And I released the movie next day, to November in Romania, and we released the movie in November and December every day in other city, and more than 10 city is sold out, and I'm very happy.
50 cities.
Yeah, it's 50 city. We have the premiere, and in the city I choose the biggest theater. In Iași will be at the premiere 1,000 people. In Bucharest, about 1,000 people in the Opera National Theatre, and the same in all the city. I think it's not a theater they have under 500 places. It's 500 and yeah. Thank you.
Hello everyone again. My name is George Avram, a Greek filmmaker, writer and producer. At the moment we are in the post-production and our third feature documentary. We filmed a company in 2008, mixed up Greek Cypriots and foreigners. And now, 15 years later, we film them again, how are in their lives. And we are at the post-production, and at the same time, there is a great opportunity here today to pitch our TV series we have in process in order to raise awareness about our story, and maybe if we find funding, thank you also for the media desk, maybe we find a way to move forward our story. Thank you.
I hope that from what we're going to present, every one of you will find the way or the place and the parameters that are interested and the calls that are interesting to him. So, a little bit about the Creative Europe program. The basic objectives is to safeguard, develop and promote European cultural and linguistic diversity and heritage. What does this mean? Europe promotes transnational cooperations between 2 and more countries. The European Union actually promotes the European ID, but at the same time would like, through the projects that it funds, to safeguard the ID of each country, of each member state, and the heritage. Also, the second basic objective is to increase the competitiveness and economic potential of the cultural and creative sectors, in particular the audiovisual sector. What does this mean? Because all the projects are transnational, they encourage and they give funds to support all these organizations in order to promote their work and, of course, course, the audiovisual sector gets the biggest amount of funds because it is very demanding. Has a budget of 2.5 billion euro for the programmatic period of 21-27. We are now halfway, and as you can see, it is divided into 3 strands for a better organization of the calls for proposals and for better dissemination of the funds. So the first part is the culture and gets the 33% of this amount. The second one, which is the biggest, is the media, which gets the 58% of this amount, and then the cross-sectorial strand, which is a combination of collaborations.
What do you mean by media, by the way? What does that mean, media?
The audiovisual.
It's the audiovisual sector. Yes. So, Creative Europe, the first strand, I will say briefly the 2 other strands so you get an idea of what it includes. And then we will move forward to the media strand, which is the one, it's the audiovisual sector which is interesting for you. Of course, the cultural strand is again very interesting because when we say about culture in Europe, it has been identified as all those, the cultural sector is made up of all those organizations and artists whose activities are based on cultural expression and artistry. So the most popular call is the European Cooperation Projects. And this call promotes actually the collaboration between 2 or more partners from at least two different countries. And this call is separated into another 3 calls according to the size of the consortium. It's a small scale, medium scale, and large scale. So as the consortium gets bigger, the funds get also more. The second one is the European Literary Translations. And the Creative Europe has created this call specifically, which is announced once a year. Now for 25 it was announced in October. And the scope for this call is to promote and to support the publishing sector. One of the main aims is to promote works to be translated in other languages which might not be so popular and so common among the European Union. And the aim is to translate those books and to let them travel all around Europe and even beyond to the countries that also collaborate and are part of the Creative Europe program. Nicos has also given you a list of those countries, so you can see for each one of them, in case that you have collaborators, to see whether you can promote collaborations with them. And then we've got some bigger calls for organizations that participate in cultural networks, in platforms, and the pan-European entities. Very briefly, the third strand is the cross-sectorial strand, and under this strand we can find the presidency events, innovation labs, journalists, partnerships, and of course the Creative Europe desks. As a Creative Europe desk, we also have to apply for funds to the Creative Europe centrally. So, now we will go a bit deeper into the media strand, which is the second strand, and it's the area of the audiovisual sector. It is organized into 3 clusters. The content cluster, which aims to promote the creation, the production of high-quality content in the foundation of the European audiovisual industry. Then it's the business cluster, which promotes the business innovation across the European audiovisual industry's value chain. Then it's the audience cluster, which aims to connect the European audiovisual works and their audiences, and it aims to support the audiences all over Europe and even beyond. I will analyze a little bit the first one, and then Nicos will analyze the business and the audience cluster. And then finally, we will see briefly how someone can apply for funding through these calls. And of course, we should mention this is a competitive program. Okay, so when a call is announced, then the consortium that will apply will submit their project through a platform, and the best proposals will get funded. So, before getting into the calls, I will just mention briefly that the Creative Europe and Europe generally has chosen two horizontal overarching priorities, and these priorities should be distinct and should be seen in all the proposals horizontally. And the one is that our projects should demonstrate that they are as green as possible. The point is to give support to the EU Green Deal, and we should show that our projects, from their design, production, dissemination, and all throughout the process, they are as green as possible. Also, throughout the process of our works, someone should demonstrate there is a gender balance, inclusion, diversity, and representativeness of all genders, and that their projects are compatible with the parameters of the EU Gender Equality Strategy. Now, very briefly, we can see on this map, under the content cluster, the calls for proposals that are being announced. Most of them are announced every year, some of them every other year. So we've got the European slate and mini slate development, the European co-development projects, the video games and immersive content. And the aim of these are to increase the capacity of the producers, to foster the competitiveness of the European independent production companies and increase the economic weight, to support cooperation among production companies from different media countries, to support the development and the production with high quality works. Also, we've got the TV and online content. Here, the European Union aims to enhance the producers in relations to broadcasters and digital platforms. So, here we mention all the calls for the coming year, 2025. The European slate development and the European mini slate development call is actually the same. It is addressed to producers, to production companies. For the first one, the submission should be of 3 to 5 works, and for the mini slate, 2 to 3 works per project, per proposal. Then we've got the European co-development call, and it is addressed again to producers. They should be at least 2 different production companies from 2 different countries for the creation, for the co-development of 1 single work. And then we've got the video games and immersive content development, which is addressed to video game producers. We will see a little bit later that it should be storytelling and a narrative. There are specifications for this call. And then lastly, we've got the TV and online content, which is addressed to producers and the operators. So,
Questions?
Yes.
Sorry, is it okay to ask a question?
Sure.
Is mini slate development, is that short film, or what is?
We'll explain a bit.
Yes.
Yes.
I will explain now each one of them.
Oh,
yes. So, also to mention that you can see under the title there is like an acronym, a special ID for each call. So you can see there that it's Creative Europe, it's media, it's the call for 2025, and the title. So the European slate development with a budget of 18 million has a deadline on the 5th of December, and the aim is to increase the capacity of the audiovisual producers to develop projects with potential to be circulated throughout Europe. Now, the consortium should be from independent European production companies, and they're asked to develop a slate of 3 to 5 audiovisual works. These audiovisual works should be specifically fiction, animation, or creative documentary. And they should be created with the aim, with the purpose for commercial exploitation, which is intended for cinema release, television broadcasting, or commercial exploitation via digital platforms. So, in the same category, we've got the European mini-slate development with a smaller budget of 5,500,000 and the deadline the 17th of September in 2025. It is actually the same call with the previous one, but here the production companies should develop a smaller amount of works, 2 to 3, and again it should be a fiction, animation, or creative documentary. I can see that many faces are trying to read, it's a lot of information. Just to mention that we can give the PowerPoint to Petra, and it will be distributed to you so that you can see it at your own time. And of course we are here to help here today with any questions, but you can also contact us at a later stage when you identify something that would be appropriate for you and your work or your team. So, the European Co-Development Call, with a budget of 6,500,000 and the deadline the 26th of February, has as objective to promote the cooperation among European production companies to develop works that have a strong potential to travel abroad, to reach audiences in other countries and even beyond Europe. So the aim here is to give funding to production companies which are from different countries, at least 2 different countries, and the aim is to develop one single work. So collaboration between 2 different production companies, 2 different countries for one single co-development work. And again, these should be intended for cinema release, television broadcasting, or commercial exploitation through platforms. And again, it could be animation, creative documentary, or fiction. The aim again is to reach audiences all over Europe and even beyond. Then we've got the TV and online content with a big budget, 20 million. We've got the first deadline, the 5th of December, with 40% of the budget to be given at the first stage, and then another deadline for the 14th of May. This call aims to support the TV and the online content, and aiming to increase the capacity of the audiovisual producers to develop and produce strong projects with European and international co-productions for the television and the online sector. And here we can see the activities that can be funded. So the works should have high creative, artistic value, they should be wide cross-border, and also the participating countries are those that take part in the media strand. And the aim again is to reach audiences at the European and an international level. So the aspect of audience development and of audience reach is always there, apart from the horizontal priorities that we've mentioned before. And then lastly, under the content cluster, we've got the video games and the immersive content development with a budget of 7 million and a deadline the 12th of February. This call aims to reach the video game producers, extra studios, audiovisual production companies to develop video games. These video games, however, should have the potential again to reach the global audiences, and they should have a narrative, interactive narrative storytelling with original content and quality gameplay, and that could be exploited commercially via different technologies such as PCs, consoles, mobile devices, production, tablets, and smartphones. Again, aiming to reach European and international markets. So this was the last one under the content cluster, and now we will move to the business cluster and the audience with Nicos.
So, under the business cluster, the main aim of the calls that we have an overview here is to further enhance the audiovisual sectors across the value chain, to develop synergies and also to create opportunities for business-to-business activities, workshops, seminars, in order to increase the capacity of the professionals of the audiovisual sector. These are the calls that will be open for 2025. Firstly, you have the skills and talents development. It aims to enhance the capacity of the audiovisual sector professionals through workshops, seminars, and other innovative actions. The Media 360 Degrees is a quite specific, very specific call that aims to create audiovisual hubs, again for the creation of workshops or seminars aimed to increase the capacity of the professionals across the value chain. So from the point of, from the stage of development, pre-production, production, circulation, exhibition, and networking activities. The European film distribution is mainly aimed at companies, distribution companies, and the European film sales are also, it's another call that is addressed only to sales agent or distribution platforms. And innovative tools and business models is a wider call that covers a wider range of professionals across the value chain. Now we're going to see in more detail each one of these calls. So for the skills and talent developments, with a total budget of 7,500,000 euros, the aim is to enhance the capacity of audiovisual professionals to adapt to new creative processes, market development, and digital technologies that affect the whole value chain. There's particular focus on creating new creative processes, harnessing digital innovation in the production and distribution, the uptake of digital tools in the field of video games, and enhancing intellectual property rights as well, and also actions that aim to help companies to move to a green transition, so applying environmentally sustainable and friendly practices in their work. So the activities that can be funded again is to support new creative processes like collaborations, including across the disciplines, innovative storytelling, blending different skill sets. In terms of digital transformation, many professionals across the value chain are equipped, but they need more training, more specific training on the use of state-of-the-art digital tools and data analytics. In terms of the IP rights exploitation across Europe, we see that intellectual property rights are not really safeguarded as much as in other parts of the world, like the US. So any kind of activities that aim to support and safeguard the intellectual property rights of the professionals are encouraged. In relation to the video games sector, creating activities to equip professionals about the use of digital tools and AI-powered technologies are also encouraged, and also activities that aim to help the professionals to move to more sustainable practices. The Media 360 Degrees call has a quite large budget of 21 million euros, and it will be open until the 9th of January 2025. The aim is to develop major audiovisual hubs in order to support a package of activities. So here we talk about larger proposals that aim to have a larger scale of impact across the value chain of the film industry. So the projects must cover at least two of the following segments: skills development, so any kind of activities, workshops, seminars that are designed by and for the professionals, with an emphasis, of course, on the digital innovation in audiovisual production and distribution, the use of digital tools in the video games production and distribution. The second activity is business-to-business activities and networking, and for the enhancement and promotion of exchanges among European audiovisual professionals, with an emphasis on creating synergies and opportunities for co-productions and sales agents to collaborate. The third activity that is covered is international co-productions. So this is very important for this specific activity. A company based in a country that participates in the media strand should collaborate with a company in a non-media strand country in order to produce audiovisual works like films, TV series, animation, or distribution activities. The fourth activity that can be covered is using innovative tools to increase the availability, visibility, and audience of European works, and also activities that harness and promote private investment. We know that across the value chain, everybody needs investment, so this call gives the opportunity to organizations to create such opportunities. Now, the European film distribution is a very specific call. It's not published every year. It has a quite large budget as well, 32 million euros. It aims to encourage and support the wider distribution, transnational distribution of European films by providing funds to European distributors, not any other professionals across the film industry value chain. So how this specific call has a specificity. There are two phases of the funded activities. First, the distribution companies should generate a potential fund through the exploitation of film rights or the visual content rights. And then this fund that will be generated should be reinvested in the co-production of eligible non-national European films, the acquisition of distribution rights, or the promotion marketing of those films for theatrical and online releases. Here again we have another very specific call that is addressed to sales agents. The aim is to support sales agents for the circulation of non-national European works on all platforms, cinema theatres and online platforms like video on demand or any other platforms. And again, there are two phases for this call. Firstly, the sales agents should generate a potential fund through the exploitation of films, and then this amount of money should be redistributed for the acquisition of international sales rights on non-national European films, and also on the promotion, marketing and advertising of those films. I just want to mention that when we say European films, we talk about films that are at least 50% produced in a media strand company, in a media strand country, and also the people that worked for the production of this film should also come from a country that participates in the Creative Europe media strand. This is very important. So the Innovative Tools and Business Models call, it has a budget of 8 million euros. This is a wider call that covers the entire value chain of the film industry. It encourages the development of innovative tools and business models and modes of work to improve the visibility, availability, audience and diversity of the works. Here are the activities that can be funded. For example, subtitling or accessibility recommendation tools. Business tools that improve the efficiency and the transparency of the audiovisual markets. Business models that optimize the synergies between the distribution platforms. Business tools for new modes of production, financing, distribution. So this is really a call that is addressed to those who want to innovate, not for those who want to just implement a set of activities. This is a really important aspect, but by taking advantage of this kind of calls, you can, the European Union aims to support the companies to increase their capacity and also move to a more digital and more greener practices. So the audience cluster, now we move on to specific calls that aim to connect European audiovisual works with audiences in Europe and abroad, and internationally. And also under these calls, the aim is for the promotion of audience development activities by companies. So we have 4 calls that will be open in 2025. The first one is aimed at European cinemas and networks of European cinemas in order to further support their work. European Festivals is aimed at European film festivals to create synergies and work interdisciplinary. The audience development and film education is a call that is addressed to the wider range of audiovisual companies, and it's really aimed at the production and organization of film education workshops or activities for audience development, and in particular younger audiences, so between 18 to 35, for example. And the Films on the Move is again a very specific call that is addressed to sales agent and distribution companies, because through these call, films get moving. This is the idea. So more precisely, this call, in order to be eligible to apply for this, you should be an organization that is on top of a network of cinemas, so it's very specific. And the activities that can be funded are networking activities, information, innovation, and communication. And the main, of course, aim is to increase the audience reach. And also, financial support is given to cinemas for promotion and screening European films. And also, innovative activities reaching new audiences. Again, the digital transition is also part of this call. Okay, and again, a reminder that the action supports a network of European cinema operators, not just individual European cinemas that want to develop activities. For example, this is very specific. This call, like the previous one, aims to support activities among the European audiovisual festivals, to increase again the audience's interest in non-national European content. The activities that can be funded are coordinated and collaborative activities, activities related to sustainable structural development, and also support to audiovisual festivals that operate in countries that are part of the media strand. And the support here is given to a European network of festivals comprising of the main applicant plus a minimum of 3 member organizations. The audience development and film education, it aims to promote, like I said before, audience development and engagement, including film education activities. The proposed activities should have the potential to reach at least 5 countries participating in the media strand, and the aim again is to increase the interest of the audience. And finally, the Films on the Move, it's a very specific call that is addressed to sales agent and theatrical distributors, and the activities to be funded are campaigns for the pan-European theatrical and online distribution of European films. Okay, this has been the total overview of the media call. So we covered the content cluster with calls related to the development and production of films across the audiovisual sector. Then we covered the business cluster, so we've seen calls that aim to increase the capacity of the organizations that participate in the audiovisual sector. Then we've seen the audience development activities, and here we have a cross-sectorial strand. The cross-sectorial strand is a very specific one that aims to create synergies across the European audiovisual sector, and there is an emphasis more on the development and promotion of media literacy across Europe, and also on innovation. So the first call, Innovation Lab, is a very is a quite large and specific call that aims to encourage organizations to create synergies, not only in the audiovisual sector, but in other parts of the business sector, to create synergies for the reinforcement of the civil, of the creative and cultural sectors. Media literacy is addressed to journalistic organizations that aim to create activities for the promotion of media literacy policies across Europe. It's been, these kind of calls are created because in Europe it has been seen recently that traditional media companies do not have the funds to continue having their operation because of the digital transition, and in order to sustain their work, European Union has created these calls to help them increase their sustainability, basically. I just want to bring your attention just to the last two calls, the journalist partnerships, collaboration and pluralism. This is, again, a very specific call that is dual, so you will find the description of this call under one call document. Collaborations, the one aims to encourage synergies among the media organizations and companies, but also across the audiovisual sector for collaborations on media literacy. And on the other hand, pluralism is more focused on encouraging the active participation of citizens in activities in order to enhance the pluralism of the media organizations. And with this, we have finished with the presentation of the course. Now we're going to see the more technical aspect of where we can find the course. So I give the floor to Matthew.
So here you can see the platform. This is the Funding and Tenders and Opportunities portal. Here you can scan it and visit the page. The European Union has gathered actually all the funding opportunities, all the programs in one platform where everyone can find information from call for proposals and to get informed on the one hand, and on the other hand, only through this platform you can upload your proposals. So the submission is through this platform here. You can see, you can find calls. You go specifically to the Creative Europe, for example, the Creative Europe program. So there is filtering. You can narrow down the options, and you can go, if you know the specific call, you just write the name, or if you know just the area, you can see different calls under the area you are working. And then you can see there the different calls. While pressing on the call, you can find a short description, and then you can find the call document. We also, there is an indication whether one call it is forthcoming or if it's open now for submission or if it has been closed. Also, through this platform, you have the opportunity to see, to get into small cards with description of successful stories, of successful projects from previous calls, which say that the calls are pretty much the same every year. There might be small differences, so by visiting the page and reading successful stories, it would be useful for you. So we are here, so you can see the calls open for submission indication. Of course, the EU offers video tutorials and manuals that will help you how to upload your proposals. And we are also here to help you as Creative Europe Desk Cyprus. As said before, we will share this presentation to you through Petra. And of course, you can follow us through our media channels, social media channels, because we also upload there announcements, proposals, even our webinars. So you can find out more in many different ways. So we wish you good luck with your proposals. Thank you.
We have the pleasure and the honor to welcome Dr. Panagiotis Charalambous to enlighten us a bit about AI in Cyprus. And the topic is Breathing Life to Virtual Worlds for Film and the Performing Arts, Virtual Production and XR Technologies in Cyprus. Welcome, and we're looking forward to listen what you have to say.
So, thank you very much for the introduction and for calling me here. So this is the first time I'm talking in front of film people, so excuse my ignorance in some of this stuff. So I would appreciate it if you had like maybe lower the lights in the front because the slides are in black, most of them.
You can lower it.
Okay, is it okay?
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, so my name is Panagiotis. I'm a team leader at the Science Center of Excellence. CYENS is a center that works on interactive media and is located like 500 meters from here. And I want to tell you basically a story, like how it works. It worked before? Yeah, okay. So yeah, back in 2019, it was actually my first month at the center, I was reading this very interesting article. It was like how Disney utilized VR to fuel the production of a film called The Lion King. It was the remake of Lion King using newer technologies. And while I was reading that, I looked also online and found some interesting videos. Unfortunately, there is no sign. Where they discussed on how using virtual reality and computer graphics, video games, etc., they were able to iterate and be efficient in producing this film, right? So what they did is they built a video game based on Lion King, they used VR, and then they did virtual cinematography and pre-production on the creation of that film. And then they used the data they collected to do the final production of the film, right? You can see some links. I might share the PDF of this because it's a huge presentation, where they discuss about how they developed this technology and what they did. And at the time, they used a game engine called Unity, and you might recognize that person, that's Jon Favreau, but later went on to develop The Mandalorian for Disney, right? So The Mandalorian is a Star Wars-based series that was developed again with the similar technology, but with the addition of something new, which was the use of LED walls to do real-time rendering of the computer graphics that were going to be filmed during behind actors, so that they could actually do in-camera VFX, basically, right? So what you see in the background is basically a giant LED wall. The actors in the front, you have lights that light the actors similarly to what's being rendered on the background. And then you have camera tracking that allows you to change what you see on the background so that you have the parallax and the feeling or the sense that you might be in that environment. Okay, that was back in 2020. And you see here some screens from the production. And everything on the back, it's lit, it's being rendered on an LED wall with real-time computer graphics and a video game engine. Now, this new approach of filming is basically called virtual production and combines virtual and augmented reality with computer graphics imagery and game engine technologies to enable production crews to see their scenes unfold as they are composed and captured on set. So that allows for basically replacing the green screen, right? So it enables actors to perform in front of actual environments and not a green sterile environment. It allows for people to be able to visualize what's happening. It allows for happy accidents because it enables you to see, you could rotate the scene, maybe have a better view of what's happening. It reduces the need for post-processing and removing, let's say, the green speed, because you have green light being emitted onto the actors and several other things, right? So there is a very nice video here that shows a virtual production studio. Basically, it consists of LED panels, motion capture systems that are surrounding the environment, a camera that you can then track using the motion capture system, the actors in front of the LED wall, and then the change of the background based on what's happening. And that allows you basically to have full control of what's happening in the scene. And you can also actually include physical assets in the scene to merge with the background. Right? So I discussed a little bit about the benefits. I'm just going to let this play a bit just to see some of this stuff, but unfortunately we don't have sound to listen to all of this. The interesting thing is this: you can have an interactive environment, you can move rocks, trees, whatever, etc. You can even control lights in real time that are in the virtual representation. This all came out actually out of the pandemic, right? Because it was difficult for people to move around. But it also enabled a lot of interesting things that were also discussed by the guys before from Creative Europe. It allowed for more green production of filming because people didn't have to move around so much. It allowed for people to do remote previews, location scouting, etc., without having to use expensive equipment. And I will skip this because it's more or less the same stuff. But another interesting thing is that you are moving from a traditional production pipeline where you basically have a story, then an art location, construction, live action shoot, and then you have the VFX people that go and edit the VFX, and then if you have accidents or problems, you go back and you reshoot, etc. What you have now is a more agile approach where you basically do more of this, most of these things in a more agile way. So to make this happen, you need a lot of things. You need visualization, motion capture technology. You need cameras that you can track, that you can control the virtual environment, and the LED virtual set. And when we are looking into this, we saw that the technologies that you need are basically real-time computer graphics, game engines, etc. And we realized that this is actually the bread and butter of what we do at CYENS, right? And we said, why not set something like that in Cyprus, right? So CYENS is a center of excellence that works on interactive media and is being coordinated by the municipality of Nicosia. We have the three public universities hosting as our partners, and UCL and Max Planck from Germany and the UK as our advanced partners. So we do research in interactive media. We are located in the center of the city, just 500 meters from here. We have around 130 people right now. Most of them are researchers. We have 3D developers and 3D modelers. And we do research in several domains, but I would say our main core is multidisciplinarity. We work in visual sciences, human factors, communications, and AI. We have our own makerspace where we can build things. We do artist residencies. We also have a lot of very interesting stuff that we do with 3D printing, let's say clay material or whatever. We also have our own festival, WIFT, it just finished actually, where it's work in progress, that's the name of the festival, where we combine technology and the arts together. And we also have a lot of well-equipped laboratories. And we realized we need a new laboratory, so we started building what we call the studio, which is basically a virtual production studio. when we started, there was no other virtual production studio in the region, with the exception of the Emirates and these countries. We wanted to build this so that we can train local talent on the use of such technology and to attract virtual film productions in Cyprus. And we believe that Cyprus has both the talent to support this creatively and technologically. So this is some old video of the time lapse of when we're trying to build this studio. We're going to just skip to the current state. So this is the studio we currently have. It's not at the size of the Mandalorian stage, obviously, but it's something that we can use to start training people and start utilizing for smaller projects. So it consists of a couple of LED walls, a state-of-the-art optical motion capture system, a volumetric capture system, DMX-controlled lights, and very powerful workstations to render our graphics. This is more or less the size of the LED wall, just to get an idea. I think at some point you're going to see me petting the bird, just to get an idea of the size of it. So it's pretty respectable, I think. So for motion capture, we have an optical motion capture system. So you see here a very happy researcher dancing to something, I don't know. This is what happens. You should see parties that we have. Everybody dances like that. We also have other motion capture systems. You see here a student from university that is in the theatrical group, where we did some experiments with real-time facial and motion capture for a virtual reality theater. We can capture multiple actors at the same time using different systems. Also dancing anywhere. Actually, this was captured like a couple of weeks ago in France, where we went to capture some dancers for a VR play. We also have a volumetric capture system. You might recognize that person. That's Zelensky and some other people, where you can actually capture somebody with 20 cameras from different angles, and you can actually have a complete 3D video basically of that person, and you can actually view it from any possible angle. And you can actually get these volumetric capture systems that data that include both clothing and motion, and place them in a virtual scene. And that allows you to do interesting things like crowds or virtual characters in an environment where it's being populated as you have actors in the front doing their thing. We also do research on top of this. We actually do a lot of stuff related to what we call shared extended reality. And we try to bring people together using extended reality technologies like virtual reality. So basically here is a thing we did a couple of months ago, where we had doctors and patients that are in remote locations because patients might not be able to travel to the hospital to do their therapy, to be able to connect together in a virtual reality space and do their therapy without having to travel to the hospital. So we do all of these things that require a lot of research in how to develop this and how to analyze the behavior of people in this, etc. But the main ambition is to keep the proper human connection with shared excitement. What you see here is actually faces of the people as they were interacting with others in that thing, and we found this as a very beautiful example of what these technologies can do. And actually, from the example I showed before, you see here an actress interacting with another actress she was in VR, and she asked from the girl to hug her. And actually what you see here is like the reactions that they had when virtually hugging, and it was very genuine at the time, and I thought it was very beautiful. And you see here that experience. So the challenges we face are representations of humans, their actions, and their environments. So we are able to create avatars or visual representations of actors. We do that using AI and other techniques. What you see here is two therapists, and then below there are avatars that were created by a single photo of their face. We also built a lot of 3D stuff, like digital twins of the rehabilitation rooms. Obviously they didn't like the room, they wanted a fantasy land for experiments. We also are able to have accurate representation of their actions in the VR space. So you see here a few people in the same space doing exercises. But we also built a lot of technology ourselves, and that's important because in order for these studios to work, you need to develop tools, right? The tool chain behind it. So this is from a European-funded project called Premiere. It's about bringing the performing arts into a new era. And we built tools to develop your own scene, but we also built the technology to have multiple people that are in remote locations to enter the virtual space, to do rehearsals, to be able to record the performance and stream it live to people on their web browser, where they can actually even put a headset and actually be in the performance and see the performance in VR. And we do rendering on the cloud here for this. You see me here doing martial arts person. Whatever. So this is from a very nice project that we are currently running. It finishes next year. We're going to have some very interesting demonstrations over the next few months. And obviously we can also do avatars that are not humans. Now, we also do a lot of research with other institutes all over Europe that do very interesting art/technology projects. So this is from Ars Electronica 2024. This is from another funded project that I'm part of. It's called Share Space. It has similar concepts to the one that I said before. But what you see here is basically some work of art, let's say digital work of art that were created by artists from open course that we had, where they created experiences where people interacted with avatars on a wall, but also on a person that was in a remote location controlling that thing in the middle. So they developed a lot of cool projects out of this, and we currently have also open course now for people to develop new art pieces. And basically people here are being tracked by lasers. But we can also do very, let's say, realistic digital twins. I believe you called first Georgoudis to join here.
Yeah.
I brought him here. So that's his 3D avatar. So we actually scan his face so that we can have his 3D representation. That we can then use to do, let's say, real-time animation, so that he can do, for example, a talk using the sign language or whatever. Now, we also do digitalization of not just humans, but also musical instruments, which is something that's quite interesting. We can capture what's happening on an audio device, like a piano or whatever, along with the performance of somebody, let's say a drummer or a pianist or a guitar player. And we can then use it to do data collection for various reasons, like AI-related stuff, but also to do experiments with people and how they interact with virtual representation of somebody doing a performance. So we also had a very interesting cool project recently. If you go to the Bank of Cyprus Culture Foundation, which is like half a kilometer from here, they have now an exhibition for the 50 years of the Turkish invasion. And the first thing you're gonna see is basically this when you enter. What we did is we scanned two statues that are in the Statue of Liberty, and we gave life to them so that they can recite a poem. Unfortunately, you can't hear the poem. But if you go there, you will see it. And actually what you will see is this thing here. It's this thing here. It's basically the two statues facing their virtual selves and having an interaction, let's say, which is kind of a very powerful thing to witness when you're there, I believe. So this came out of a collaboration with the Bank of Cyprus after some discussion we had with Yannis Toumazis. And we utilized a couple of actors from Cyprus, Anna Yangosi and Andreas Charalambous, and Miguel Tsangari to do the audio. And this is what we used basically. We motion captured Anna. This is her 3D representation, let's say, the simplified representation that was later used to animate the avatars. This was not the final avatar. We decided with a simpler, more stiff approach, but we can do kind of more realistic avatars with even physics-controlled clothing or whatever. Similarly with Charalambous, this is his art. I mean, you can see his kind of persona being replicated there, but it was transferred to another character, this one. We also do a lot of 3D digitization at CYENS. This is 3D models that we did of artifacts at the Bank of Cyprus Cultural Foundation. We went there and we scanned them. This is, I believe, really good 3D representations that we did scan for a video game. We developed a video game for that. But we are also using them can be used for artistic recreations. You can actually go and download these 3D models from the Bank of Cyprus Cultural Foundation Sketchfab account. And we also digitize buildings. This is from a project we had, it's a JPI project, where we went to the Englistra of Agios Neophytos, the sanctuary of Saint Neophytos in Paphos, and we digitized it using laser scanning, photogrammetry, drones, etc., both interior and exterior. And you can actually even go and visit that using VR. And it's interesting because some of the parts that we digitized, now you cannot go and visit them physically because it's dangerous. So now you can actually visit it using VR.
I did that.
You did that?
Yes, to your place. I came.
Okay.
I did a visit to the virtual visit.
Yes, so it's...
Very impressive.
Thank you. It's a recently finished project, and I think it went really well. So, because it's 3D, you can do some interesting things like do light studies using computer graphics to understand how light interacted with the space and why people decided to modify the space in the way that they decided to modify it. And we are also going a little bit deeper. Instead of just starting with small artifacts and buildings, we're actually doing a 3D reconstruction of Nicosia. We have like a project called NICOSIA. We're basically digitizing the entire city in 3D. We have a very accurate 3D reconstruction of the city. Some parts are in low quality, some are in very high quality, especially the cultural heritage sites. We do frequent flies and we update the model, and we plan to have this over time so that we have like a history of the city as it evolves, hopefully in a good way. And we are also integrating data here, which is not part of the filming industry, but we care also about data, historical data, but also real-time data that come from sensors from the city that measure temperature, pollution, etc. And that actually you can, if you collect this data over time, you can correlate and understand how all of this affected the design of the city and the modification of the city. And actually the platform is live. I cannot share the link now. It's still not live for the public, it's live for us. And we do a lot of interesting things like simulating weather conditions like snow in Nicosia or heavy rain or whatever. Just gonna skip this. Real-time change of day and night. And we are currently exploring new 3D representations. So this is 3D actually, and this is I think this is gonna be revolutionary for the film industry because you can actually have really realistic representations of spaces that you can then view in real time and from any possible angle. And they also work with reflections and glasses and transparent objects. So we are exploring that a lot now. We did have a very nice collaboration with Sony Pictures Animation. I was the lead for that project, where we worked a lot with doing new tools for them for pre-production. So they actually.
It's excellent for you guys. Excellent for you guys, I'm saying. It's excellent.
Yeah.
Way to go, man.
Thank you, thank you.
Good, man.
So it was a very nice collaboration. We did I would say 3 prototypes. One of them was 3D scouting for pre-production. Unfortunately, Epic Games got there before us, so they continued with that thing. But we worked a lot on developing tools with AI to do storyboard retrieval and 3D object retrieval from their databases to do, because they have like millions of sketches. Sometimes they want references and they want to find references quickly. And we developed some tools for them using some AI technologies. So this was very well advertised for us. This is the kind of data we had. It was advertised from the Hollywood Reporter to local places. And for me, the number one resource of the center is not all of this stuff that I showed before, it's the people that develop all of this stuff. And I believe this is the reason that we believe that we can develop these technologies and we can bring people in Cyprus to do actually virtual production. It's because we have the people that are capable enough to do it. So we would like to create with you. So if you want, come join us for a coffee or a beer, or connect with me through LinkedIn if you want to, so that we can maybe start discussions and see maybe we can actually do a Creative Europe proposals together.
Bravo.
Yeah.
That's very informative. Thank you so much. And there is a combination now. The last phrase you say, how we are going to collaborate with Creative Europe funding and your expertise. So if people come from abroad and would like to do a post-production or a production of and to use also this kind of technology, how they can be funded. And one question, and the other is, what is the treaty between Canada and USA? How can these countries also use this funding program?
Yes, we should say that most of the programs are addressed to European Union countries. There are also the collaborative countries that are beyond Europe that one can get into their consortium. There are so many different calls and so many different opportunities, and the best way is to see for the area, the specific call that we are interested in, to see whether the consortium could be wider. It's not only the number of participants, coordinator participants, it's also the country of origin that should be part of the call. So there are the specifications are there on each call. Yes.
Yeah, regarding the countries that participate in the media, as we said, they are the 27 EU member states, and also the 14 countries that participate are associated with the program. We've given you one of the 2 sheets of paper that we've given you presents the 14 countries. They're mainly the Balkan countries like Montenegro, Serbia, Kosovo, and also Tunisia, which is non-European. I just want to mention that, for example, a production company from Canada can participate in some of the media calls, specifically in relation to the pre-production and production, but the main applicant and the main beneficiaries should be companies based in European countries. And also they should be in relation to the content cluster. I just want to clarify, because I know we've given you a lot of technical information, is that the companies that can apply should be independent. When we say independent European audiovisual companies, are companies that are not wholly obtained by a national authority. They should be independent in the way of their mode of work, and they should not be dependent on funding from any other countries or from country of origin. This is a very important requirement. Yes.
May I also add?
So excuse me, so what you're saying is, if you're being funded by your program, no other program is allowed to be funded together, combined? Is that what you're saying?
It depends on the program. When you say, like, it can be funded, your production, for example, can be funded by the Creative Europe.
In Greece, I think ETNA gives 40,000, 50,000 or something like that. So can you combine a TV station's funding with your funding together?
Yes.
Co-funding.
Yes. Okay. Let me take this opportunity also to mention beyond the Creative Europe funding opportunities, which are from funds from Europe. Here in Cyprus, organizations based here in Cyprus are encouraged to make collaborations and to ask for funding through the national authorities here in Cyprus. We have the Deputy Ministry of Culture that gives funds. And also apart from that, there is especially for the cultural strand, for the cooperation projects, which encourages synergies between different countries and different organizations, and they get a Creative Europe program proposal. They will get their funding from Europe, which is 80% usually of the whole budget, and then there is another grant that you can apply from the Ministry of Culture here in Cyprus, and the money is going to be given to the ratio of the participant organization in Cyprus. So there is co-funding.
And we need a local partner also to apply.
Yes.
The main applicant should be.
How many applicants do you get a year? What percentage gets funded?
Okay, there are many different numbers because there are many different calls.
Overall.
We cannot say that really because there are projects, there are calls that they're very popular and they are in a way easier to apply for, and there are more specific calls that of course are addressed to more specific and more targeted organization, markets, and so there is not a general number to be given.
Depends, I think. I want to add, it depends on the number of works that you apply for. For example, in the slate and mini slate, you could present, for example, one major feature film and 2 documentaries. Based on the overall budget of those 3 works, you will get the appropriate amount of money from Europe. Of course, Europe cannot cover the entire budget for the production of the films, but it contributes.
And who decides which applicant moves forward and which one doesn't? Who makes the decision? The actual decision?
What kind of consortium? Who is the evaluator of the proposal?
Correct.
Well, the evaluators are centrally based in Brussels, and they examine all the proposals. They also examine the type of works that are submitted, so their content, the type of people that work for it, whether the people working for a production are nationals of countries who participate in the program. There are many different aspects that are taken into account before they make their final.
And those numbers you gave us, 18 million, 20 million, is that just for Cyprus?
No, for
Greece,
for
all of Europe?
All of Europe.
And how does it get sliced up from all 27 countries? That's my curiosity. Is that how much does Italy get? How much does France get?
It depends on the kind of proposal that will be.
It's not per country. The funds are not disseminated throughout the countries equally because there are bigger markets and smaller markets.
Correct.
So because their programs are competitive, this means that the best proposals get the funds. Yes.
And the proposal also, it's very important for you if you want to apply in the Creative Europe course is for your ideas to be in line with and respect the specific objectives of the call you're applying to. This is very important. So if Europe is, as we've seen, the priorities, let's say horizontal priorities, is gender representativeness and greening, you should make sure that across your proposal and the activities proposed, those aspects are taken into account. And also in relation to films, if you see the previously funded projects, there is a specific Creative Europe results platform where you can see all the funded projects. You will see that, for example, in relation to films, any type of films, even the plot and the themes of a film are taken into account. For example, films that promote diversity, or they show the problem of migration, for example. I'm just giving examples now. These kind of ideas will be more likely to get funded because they promote values that are in line with the values of the European Union. If you get...
Actually, the applicants, the consortiums, should be able to demonstrate through their application that they fulfill in the best possible way the scope and the objectives of each specific goal. And when I say they fulfill, they should describe in their narrative, in their story, and in their production how these will fulfill the objective of the call. So if this is demonstrated in the best possible way, then there are more chances to get the fund for the specific call.
Any other questions?
I have a couple that they're quite specific, so maybe we can answer after. For the mini slate, how long does the production company have to be established? Is it 2 years?
The organization should exist for at least 2 years, and they have to be entities. Yes.
Okay. Great.
And their main activity should be audiovisual work. I just want to clear up that because we have people coming to us, companies that are engaged in designing or production or with graphic designers, for example, saying that we want to produce a short film. Can I apply? The answer is no, because your main activity should be the production of audiovisual work. And you should also include in your proposal your previous work that should also be audiovisual work of specific requirements.
So if I want to do something with Panagiotis, for example, right? I want to work with Panagiotis, right? Does he have to apply for it, or do I have to apply for it?
It's entirely up to you, but the main applicants should be established in a European country. There's no, it's up to you to decide. Yes.
And what we recommend that